Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera and a very good morning from Malaysia. My name is Dr. Leele Suzana binti Jamian and I am from the Faculty of Education's UITM Malaysia. Right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my plenary sessions. Okay, I would like to switch on to my presentation slides. Yeah. So hold on. Okay. Right. So I hope you can see clearly the slides. Okay. So basically, the title of my presentation today is entitled Innovative Leaderships, Decision-Making Styles, Strategies 2.0 and 3.0 Frameworks for the 21st Century, Sustainable Leaderships among Deans and Academic Leaders in Higher Educations. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to acknowledge two of my professors who strongly believe that an innovative paper should come from a good research. And therefore, I would like to highlight two of my supervisors, Professor Gunam Kosidu and Professor Paramjit, for being part of this paper. All right. So if you look carefully, the presentations outlined, okay, the whole blue color, they actually originated from my PhD. But I'm not going to talk in detail about them because I'm going to concentrate what happened from the PhD that could derive to my innovations. Right. So basically, when talking about my PhD, it consisted of three variables, yeah, managerial decision-making style, decision-making skill, and organizational effectiveness among deans of public universities in Malaysia. However, for the purpose of this research, these presentations, okay, the current presentation is confined to only one variable, that is decision-making style. And with that, I would present the innovative leaderships in terms of decision-making style, strategies 2.0 and 3.0 framework for the 21st century sustainable leaderships among deans and academic leaders in higher educations, particularly in Malaysian setting. So you can see here all the keywords, okay, for the research that I conducted. And basically, I would like to define decision-making style. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, what is decision-making style? Now, according to researchers such as Rowe and Bulgar writes, 1992, okay, they mentioned that decision-making style is the way in which a person perceives informations and mentally processes that informations to arrive at decisions. Now, it also reflects one's cognitive complexity, perceptions, and also values. Yeah. So, it is, ladies and gentlemen, why decision making or why decision making style? Right. So, basically, decision making is one of the hidden leadership traits that contributes to organizational success. Now, from my observations, my reading, I found out that many academic leaders are still struggling in managerial decision making area that leads to ineffective organizations. So, accurate decisions could help academic managers and leaders to lead and achieve effective organizations. The question is, how do we decide? Okay, how do managers and leaders decide? Now, findings in past research indicated that little has been researched in the area of decision making area. Yet, decision making is the most important area to academic managers and leaders since many decisions are to be made and achieved. Okay, so the right decision making process, skills, and style could help them to achieve greater heights. Okay, so in order to be relevant in this era of uncertainty, borderless world, industrial revolutions 4.0 and 5.0, COVID-19 pandemic time, and many other situations, academic managers and leaders will need to be in the constant change mode, okay, to suit the fast changing world, yet able to maintain the balance of the cosmos. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you can read my slide in detail later if you have time. Now, I will leave it to the committee soon, inshallah, Dr. Fauzia. Right. So, in terms of research problem, of course, there are many research problem that leads to decision making area or decision making style. Yeah. So in these presentations, let me highlight only one or two problems concerning the variable that is decision making styles. Okay, so basically, based on my research, based on my reading, okay, there is a dispute over theoretical perspective. Okay, so it is found that the classical and rational model of decision making tend to ignore characteristics of individual decision makers. And this model of classical and rational theory, okay, they presume that decision making process is rather similar in all individuals. Okay, however, due to the evolutions of theory in decision making, okay, the behavioral and cognitive models of decision making found that decision making is actually based on individuals' characteristics, individual differences in decisions behavior. Okay, and also decision process informations. So basically, decision making may not be the same among or between the individuals. So there is a dispute over the theory over the time. Okay, and I make it short also. Why deans in public universities in Malaysia? So this is because of the impact of globalizations and internationalizations and many other factors. Okay, has brought the role of deans to becoming more and more challenging. Okay, and therefore, deans are considered as managers and leaders of change. And with that realization as well, this research will actually indicate, yeah, whether deans are really managers or leaders. Okay, so this is the best part of the instrument that could actually help detect the role of our managers and leaders in universities. Okay, so let's move on to the research objective and questions. So I have two research objective and two research question as well. So the first one, I make it simple to explore the dean's managerial decision making styles at four randomly selected Malaysians public universities. So the research question is, what are the managerial decision-making styles among deans of public university in terms of all these three, yeah? In terms of their style intensity, brain-sidedness, and person orientations, whether they are managers or leaders. Okay, now the second research objective is to propose some innovative decision-making style strategy frameworks for sustainable and best practices of leaderships among deans of public universities in Malaysia. So, what are the innovative decision-making style strategy framework can be proposed for sustainable leaderships among deans of Malaysian's public universities? So, this is something that I would like to bring into these innovative presentations. Right, so basically if you look at the conceptual framework, the variable comes in terms of correlations, yeah, looking into decision making areas, styles and skills, and I correlate them with organizational effectiveness, and therefore I'm able to came up with the model on the relationships between these two variables and organizational effectiveness. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it became the foundations to my innovation paper today, right? So basically, when I talk about decision-making style, the theory originated from Rowe and Bulgar Wright's 1992, and this theory actually looks into four decision making styles. Yeah, so they are analytical, conceptuals, directive, and behavioral decision making styles. And the combinations of analytical and conceptual decision making style will actually leads to a person of becoming a leader, and directive and behavioral decision making style, okay, will actually leads to managers only. And the theory also is looking into the brain sidedness, yeah, such as right hemisphere and left hemisphere of the brain. So if the person is very much into conceptual and behavioral, they are very much into right dominant person. Okay, and if they are very dominant in analytical and directive, they are very much into the left brain dominant person. So this is according to the theory, right? So in terms of research methodology, I just make it short and simple. This research actually derived from a mixed method research design. I'm having both quantitative and qualitative data collections, and quantitative actually came from the rating by the deans and also the subordinates. Yeah, so in terms of qualitative, I also have open-ended questions as well as semi-structured interview. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I move on to the populations and sampling. And besides that, I would like to say that the instrument is quite reliable. um, I think you can actually read from my slides later. Yeah. Okay. So basically, the population and sampling of the study consisted of four public universities in Malaysia. They were chosen randomly out of 12 universities during that particular time. So I had like 60 deans selected for the research, and 2,100 subordinates rating at the deans. And this is what I had. 90% of the dean actually completed and written the questionnaire, and 34% or 716 subordinates actually completed and written the questionnaires. Yeah. So the questionnaires answered by the subordinates actually became the triangulations of the one rated by the deans. So this is the instrument developed by Rowe and Mason and further developed by Rowe and Bulgarites. Okay, and they are actually divided into four. Right. So in terms of finding, everybody, okay, that makes up the foundations to the innovations part. Okay, it is found that most of the deans, yeah, I think 56% of the dean rated themselves as very dominant behavioral decision maker. Okay, and the subordinates, however, okay, more or less, they also rated their dean as 68.3%, okay, of the deans as very dominant behavioral decision maker. Okay, out of the four decision styles, okay, it seems that somehow, yeah, the findings of decision style is very skewed, right? And these are the results on the backup decision style by the deans. They prefer analytical, and the subordinates said the deans actually are conceptual, besides being very dominant. Yeah, and also these are the least preferred style by the deans. Okay, directive and conceptuals, and the subordinate, however, mentioned that the deans actually least preferred the analytical decision style. So with that, I also had these findings on the brain sidedness. The deans actually rated that they are right brain dominant person rather than left brain, and this is very much similar to the subordinates. They also mentions that the deans actually had right brain dominance. Yeah, and in terms of person orientations, it seems that the dean rated themselves as action oriented person rather than idea oriented person, and this is also quite similar results as rated by the subordinates. Okay, so all in all, it is found that the deans the findings based on the theory mentioned that the deans rated themselves dominantly as managers rather than leaders. Okay, so with this understanding, yeah, everybody, um, my research actually recommended that there should be some continuous professional development in terms of leaderships in a form of transformational and characteristics charismatic leaders. Okay, and also we sorry my research, okay, as supervised by the professors, okay, we actually recommend that novice managers, leaders, or novice deans should undergo some trainings in decision making style and decision making skills. Yeah, and also more effective and interactive bottom up communications to bridge the gap between the faculty leaders and subordinates. Now, with that, ladies and gentlemen, um, this is where the innovation comes in. And as I mentioned, there is a framework of 2.0 and 3.0. Now, however, before I derive to 2.0 and 3.0, there should be 1.0. So 1.0 derived from my PhD studies. Okay, I recommended that innovations decision making style strategy framework can be proposed in terms of embracing the principle of the yin and the yang. Okay, this is based on the Chinese philosophy on the balance of the cosmos, right? So, as we know just now, that the deans are very much skewed into behavioral decision making style. So, in a way, we have to make it balanced, and they should be able to switch into some other styles when making a decision. So this is what I proposed in 1.0 framework. And for this uh, um, presentations, okay, I also came up with 2.0 innovative decision making style strategy. Right, the framework is looking into the principle of shura that is basically derived from the Quran. So this is very much relevant to my brother and sisters in Pakistan. Okay, so decision making requires a lot of consultations. And I think the principle of Shura is the best that should be looked into. And this is what I propose. It should be embraced, and it should be explored by managers and leaders. Yeah. And also, in redesigning leaderships, we need to learn, unlearn, and relearn. We have to move on, right? Looking into the perspective of digital leaderships. Okay, even though we are talking about decision making, right? Decision making, okay, should be better if we consider the digital leadership characteristics. Now, in terms of digital leaderships, I think it is very much relevant in the COVID 19 pandemic era. Okay, so it gives us more reason to embrace digital leaderships, right? Okay, so with that, everybody, I would like to propose here that digital leaderships should be taken into considerations when we do our decisions. right? Now, according to scholars such as Erin Schiniger, now he came out with his theory or models, okay, back in 2014, and he was talking about the pillars of digital leaderships. And digital leaderships actually revolve around eight different aspects, okay, and the one that being stressed more is communication. Okay, communication is becoming more and more important, right? And you can see the rest of the areas that need to be focused as well. Okay, such as student engagement and learning, learning space and environment, professional and learning growth, okay, public relations, branding, and opportunity. And this is also being highlighted in his paper, okay, and being renewed most of the time. Yeah, so I think this is the latest versions of the pillars of leaderships according to his model, right? And communication is still being in the middle here, right? And also based on what we call a reading, I also found interesting what they call that reports, yeah, by Cherry Gordon. Okay, and I think the person encourages us to embrace digital leadership transformations. Okay, and according to Cherry Gorton, okay, there are 20 ways to achieve digital transformations, and it is divided into four different dimensions, such as the mindset, people, process, and the tools. Right. So another part of reading, okay, I also found that Deloitte University Press also mentioned that in order for us to embrace digital leaderships, we need to look into the leadership's capabilities, characteristics in order to succeed in digital world. So I think you can go and read my PowerPoint slides, okay, in order to know all the details. Because of the time constraint, everybody, I may not be able to explain everything, but coming back to decision making, okay, talking about the reality of the outside world when we have produced our graduates, okay, it always look into the real world, that the real world actually talks about digital plannings, and we can't run from that. Okay, so this is some informations on how we go about doing digital transformations in the real world. Okay, and I'm taking some models from outside as well. Right now, with that, yeah, digital leaderships, okay, based on my reading, I also found two important keywords that are communications and agility. So these two words always became the theme of what they call digital leaderships. Yeah, and agility is the one that requires us to be efficient, fast, and able to facilitate at any time. And communications should be done in a very efficient way. Yeah, all right, because the world is moving so fast, right? So basically, everybody, this is the innovative decision making style strategy, which I compiled from 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. Okay, they consisted of the four styles just now based on the theory, and then I embed the principle of yin and yang, and then the principle of shura, okay, and also digital leaderships, okay, and guided by values and ethics. So basically, everyone, I strongly believe that leaderships should design happiness, and leaderships also comes from our the way a person is doing his thinking, and the process and the skills that involve in the decision making process. So, all in all, I strongly believe that leaderships should design happiness. Okay, either in our academic organizations or in other organizations as well. And I hope this presentation could help you to think that we should not be we can't afford to be skewed at one particular ways of doing things only. Okay, so in order to become a better person, okay, a better managers and leaders, we should be flexible in many ways. Okay, so this cute little baby is showing us, we should not skew ourselves in technology only, but we should be able to become, more uh, comprehensive in terms of our decision making style, decision making skills, and the way we decide for the betterment of the organizations. All right. So, with that, everybody, thank you very much for listening. And I would like to transfer back these presentations to the chairperson. If you have any questions, please ask me during the live chats. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.